When taking data on time on task for students, you're going to need a few supplies. First, you need a time on task observation form, which you can get from your lead teacher. They look like this. You will write the student's name at the top, what grade they're in, what environment you're taking the data in, the date, the time, how many students are in the room, the subject that they're working on, and your name. You'll take the data down here, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. You'll also need a timer, preferably a silent timer so as not to distract any of the students, and a writing utensil. When you take data for time on task for a student, you're going to want to make sure you know who your target student is. You also want to either ask the classroom teacher or just look around for a student in the room that is the same gender, who's not acting perfectly, but looks like they're have about average time on task behavior. And the teacher can also let you know who an average student to be on task would be. When you're taking data, you'll write your data on here, and you'll be looking at the student in 30-second intervals. So you'll need your timer. When you use your timer, if you have a timer like this, if you just hit start, it will actually count up and it will stay silent. When that reaches 30 seconds, you will record on this sheet in box 1 a plus or a minus. If the student was on task for the 30 seconds, you'll write a plus. If they were not on task, you'll write a minus. And then you'll wait another 30 seconds according to your timer. So after that hits 30, you would write your data. Then you're watching it again. When it hits 60, you're writing your next data point. When you're taking data in the classroom, you're going to want to make sure that you're in close enough proximity to the student that you can tell if they're on task or off task. But you also don't want to be too close because you don't want them to know that you are taking data on them. So get yourself in a good position that you can see your target student and the peer. And then watch your timer and look for those 30-second intervals and make sure you mark on task or off task. You can also make notes in the margins if you're seeing some extreme behaviors that you think are important to note. As you can see, our student here is working on sight word sentences. She appears to be diligently working. As the clock hits 30 seconds, our paraeducator will mark on the time on task a plus because the student is remaining on task. As our paraeducator continues to take data, she's making sure to pay really close attention to the actual work the student is doing, because even though they're not writing sentences, they're just writing random words on their paper. As she continues to watch her timer, she's looking for any off-task behavior.
Hey, Mary! Are you working? I'm working.
Our paraeducator noted that our student was definitely not on task. She's been playing with her pencil, not writing her sentences, talking to others, and being very wiggly in her seat while not working. The data collection form that the lead teacher may give you will go up to 20 minutes. As you can see, our paraeducator has only completed about 6 minutes of time on task data, and this student was mostly off task. As we continue going, we would fill up all the boxes. You'd also be filling in the box for a peer. And then at the end, you can complete this formula down here that explains to you how to determine the percentage of on-task or off-task behavior that the student shows. At the bottom, you can also write any anecdotal notes that you notice. For instance, if the student was more off task during individual work as compared to small group work or whole class work. Or if the student was displaying any other behaviors that are worth noting, such as hitting others or hitting themselves or crying or something like that.